Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, and you probably just heard a little kind of a clicky clunky there because I've literally just been able to print off the questions. I've just come from tennis this evening, but it started. We have trouble with the booking, so this year it started. This week we started an hour later, and then we went for some food, and then I just missed my train, so everything is sort of like backed up, so apologies for that. But I read the questions on the train, and you can still hear the printer kind of doing its stuff in the background. But yeah, things are a little bit have gone a little bit awry, so forgive me. I had a few things planned out, but I didn't have I've not got the clips lined up, so but there's still some things that I kind of want to say. So first of all, oh my goodness, yeah, just like what an absolute steaming pile of you know what. Yeah, a steaming pile of you know what. This is, you don't need me to tell you, but this is absolutely crackers. Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers what is going on. And, you know, where to begin with all of this stuff? It's, do you remember I came up with that word, and I keep forgetting to use it, but I use it from time to time. Do you remember I said Trumpocalypse? Yeah, this is Trumpocalypse. Yeah. And I coined that phrase, a couple of years ago now, something like that, maybe longer. And the reason why I came up with this word, because I knew we would end up ultimately in a scenario like this, which is a Trumpocalypse. Yeah, he's being blackmailed out the wazoo, as we know, to go into this illegal war. However, from what I understand is that there was a vote, wasn't there? There was a vote in Congress. And from what I understand is that 4 Democrats have gone and voted for it. Yeah. And as you've seen, you know, I've been dropping breadcrumbs here and there. And as particularly, you know, during the election run of 2024, and even like most of 2025, I've kind of held back, to be honest, on my critique of the Dems and what I've been seeing, especially energetically. And do you see how it kind of works? Yeah, most of them vote to do the right thing, and then 3 or 4 conveniently go over and vote for Duck L'Orange. Yeah. And that's because of lobbying. And I was watching somewhere, I think it's probably Kyle Kalinske again. I watch him a lot, and between him and iHip News, and then I watch a lot of other ones as well. And they've all been paid millions by AIPAC. Yeah. So I think we can all understand. I think we all know by now that this is the Epstein wars. Yeah. But it's also mixed in with the crazy batshit evangelical combined with other stuff. And one of the things I want to say, yeah, before I go into the rest of the show, and before I forget, there's something that I want to say. And this has been an observation of mine, and I've been thinking about the USA chart. I remember the USA chart, 4th of July, 1776. Everyone knows it. Yeah, the most famous birthday in the world. Some people use 5:15 p.m. I use 6:30 p.m. But either way, whichever one you use, it comes out from what I recall that America is a Sagittarius rising as a nation. Yeah. Sagittarius has many qualities. Yeah, exuberance, optimism, expansiveness. Yeah, it's also very interested in spirituality and freedom. Yeah, and it's all about dreams. Yeah, the Jupiter signs, Sagittarius and Pisces, are all about dreams. Yeah, because Jupiter is a dreamy planet, believe it or not. He's gaseous. Yeah, and his element is ether, which is the element of spirit. Yeah, so of course America is full of spirituality of all sorts of different kinds. Yeah, if you were to put all of the religions that America has within its shores, I'm sure it's Many, many, many. However, the shadow of Sagittarius is fanaticism. Yeah, fanaticism. And by fanaticism, you can also talk about cults. Yeah. And one of the things I want to say before it leaves my mind is that I really do believe that America is in the grip of three cults. Yeah. The obvious one is MAGA, although the fever's breaking a bit on that one, because remember, they were anti-war up until about 10 minutes ago. You never know with these people. They just go with whatever the dear leader farts out most of the time, although the podcasters are pushing back. But that's the one that we know, yeah? The MAGA cult, which is also blended in, really, that should be known as the evangelical, yeah? The evangelicals, and what people are now calling Christian Zionism as well. So there's that. Then there's AIPAC, yeah? And we all know what that represents, which country that represents, and they are leading the way. Basically, America, I don't think this is unfair to say, and I'm sure many of you would agree, is now a vassal state, yeah, which just does the bidding of Netanyahu, yeah, and the apparatus behind him. So that's two cults. And then the third cult are the tech bros. Now, many people might think, well, they're not spiritual, blah, blah, blah. They're not, but it's still a cult. And what I believe the tech bros are doing, they're riding these two crazy horses in the direction of what they want. And one of the things that they want, now, do you remember with these people, every accusation is a confession. You must remember that. Every accusation is a confession, particularly if you listen to the recent statements about Iran, and they were saying, oh, they're ideological lunatics and all they're interested in bloodlust and bombing everything. That's what they said about Iran. It's like, oh, pot and kettle, you know, hold up the mirror. Projection. It's their classic tactic. Now, you remember there was all the things, you remember all the stuff about trans. You remember there was going trans, on and 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 on. Why are they always going on about this? Now, remember, every accusation is a confession. So if we take every accusation as a confession, what is it that they're actually confessing to? Now, one of the things that I'm not the only one who believes this, but what I believe they're confessing to is transhumanism. Let's not forget all of the tech bros in the room at that inauguration. Let's not forget this. They've been bankrolling him. Elon Musk, Doge, yeah, raiding all the information, everyone's social security details, etc. Robbed, yeah, put on thingy bob sticks and given to who? Palantir. Palantir is obviously the buddy of Elon Musk. You know, they put PayPal together. Why is Palantir putting that? Puts that all together. What's Palantir doing? That is then working what? In Israel, yeah, on what? The Palestinian genocide. And now what they're doing, why ICE is filming everyone, yeah, recording everyone, putting that data what? Back into Palantir. Then they're working with what? Jeff Bezos, who's got the ring light things, yeah, the doorbell ring, yeah. So films both ways. You can crack into that. They've handed over that information, compiling this great database. And what are they trying to go towards? Yeah, every cult has a goal. What's their goal? Transhumanism. You know what this whole thing in Gaza is all about? Why that whole area is being decimated in the first place, and why they were going after Greenland. Do you remember when I was showing they want to, what is it? You got Prospero, which is Honduras, and the other one, I can't even remember what it's called now. But you remember it was based in Greenland. They wanted Greenland. They've been rebuffed a bit on that for now. The other place, of course, that they want is Gaza, yeah, to become what? The Riviera of the Middle East, which is headed up by who? Jared Kushner, yeah, who's his godfather? Oh, yeah, certain Netanyahu, yeah, for entertainment purposes only. I just have to add that in. What they want to do with that place is create the first biotech techno state. That's essentially what it's about. That's also what the crypto is all about as well. And that's what all the Neuralink stuff is all about. This isn't conspiracy theory anymore. Neuralink is real. And do you remember that dream I had years ago, guys? And I said, humanity will diverge. I had this dream in about 2022. And I will get into your questions, but this is more about a bit of a soapbox at the start, yeah? Because I've got to get this off my chest. And I said, I was shown that humanity will diverge. It will split. Do you remember that dream? Let me know in the comments. You guys have been watching me like for years. Tell me if you remember that dream. I'll have to put it in the video description at some point. And in that dream, I was shown that humanity was split. There will be those that will go for the whole Neuralink stuff. And when I had this dream, by the way, this was before Elon Musk got his approval, by the way. I didn't even know about Neuralink. I just saw him using these machines to drill into people's skulls and put the thing in. And I saw the wires and everything. And that is exactly how it is. I think almost all of the animals have died, by the way, which means probably a few of the humans have died as well. It's probably all hush-hush because, of course, he was given authority by, what is it, the Food and Drug Administration or something like that. Yeah, it was the FDA. Anyway, I digress. Some in humanity will go down the transhumanism route. And the whole idea is that they will be wired up to what? The internet, AI, the cloud. This is their goal. It really is. And this is why you see I'm so kind of like anti-AI. And this is why I call it the divinity blocker, because everything is mimicry. Everything, they can't create things. They can only twist the creations of others. And they're always trying to mimic our divinity, the things that we can do. That's what all this ChatGPT is about, in my humble opinion. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't have its uses. Of course, it has its uses, but it's a lure. It's to make people feel comfortable with it. Think about it. It technically, in terms of government, financial return, yeah, 95% of cases, it doesn't work. It doesn't improve that company's efficiency, yet everyone's being laid off. Why are they investing so much in something that has a 95% failure rate? Yeah, it's because it's probably being trained to do something else. Nowhere in the world of business, which is based on profit and this, that, and the other, profit and return, ROI, return on investment. Nowhere in history has a business ever pursued a business strategy that had a 95% failure rate. And that is backed up by MIT. So why are they doing it? Yeah, right. It's for a bigger purpose. So this evening, I'm going to play you some clips, and then I'm going to first of all, I was supposed to line up the clips, but first of all, let me rummage for my clips first, and welcome everyone as well. Let me just see here. Someone saying here, Lilith said, I'd always consider it the mark of the beast. Absolutely. And then Kathleen says, I remember the dream you had. Yes, what I forgot to say as well, humans that refuse it, we continue to evolve, but we go in our own way. We do it organically. Yep. Organically, which is with the divine. Yeah. And then someone's saying here, Dra says, yeah, we're definitely living in Orwellian times for sure. Deborah says the Matrix 2026 edition. Yeah, and they're not even good at it. They can't even lie properly. It's just ridiculous. Here, Dion says, Prospera is a privately owned tech city on the island of Rotan, Honduras. They are not subject to laws or taxes. Yeah. So remember, the previous prime minister or president of Honduras, yeah, who was convicted for trafficking, I think it was 600, was it 60 tons or 600 tons? Let's just say 60 tons to, you know, spare his blushes. But it was tonnage of cocaine into America. He was found guilty. He was, I think he was in a 25 year, I don't know how many years it was, but he spent maybe a couple of years behind bars, and then Trump pardoned him. And do you remember they were talking about saying, oh, it's about the drugs, the drugs. That's why we went into Venezuela. He's a drug lord. Yeah. And then they abducted him, kept the regime in place, and he's siphoning off the oil into his private bank accounts. Yeah, it is not what it's being presented, but I don't need to tell you guys that. You already know. Yeah. So if we look here, KKL says, it seems they want to replace us with robots and AI for those who survive, control them with implants. It sounds mad. Yeah, I know it sounds mad, but this is where we're at. And remember as well, Pete Hegseth has got, like, remember the generals have said, this is holy war. Trump is the beacon of Christ. Yeah. Oh, but in order to bring back this incredible, peaceful, enlightened being, we need to create as much bloodshed as possible. You see how they flip it, how they invert it. It's a death cult, yeah, because their overlords are satanic, basically. Someone said that, Jerry Gale says, I remember my mum talking about this 25 years ago. She called it the mark of the devil. Absolutely. People are saying, Debbie saying, true that, indeed. And then Kuna says the blinkers are off, and as gross as all this is, we needed to see the truth. It's going to be a long road, but maybe how now humanity can make real changes instead of going around in circles. Yes, there are ways. And it's to also as well, it's to do with the light body. Oh my God, I had really quite an esoteric show prepared for you guys. So let me just kind of look. You see, these are the notes that I made before I went out to tennis and stuff. And obviously my preparations hit the skids a little bit. So go with me here. We're flying together. So I was looking at Carl Kalinsky, iHip News, Chris Norland, Carl Kalinsky again, Greg Brandon Official. He's the one who does all the stuff on Gaia, and he had a very interesting guy on. So because in terms of where this battle is going, which really is kind of like a fight between light and dark, I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but that's how they're certainly viewing it, that's for sure. So let me just find I'm going to find you a little clip from Carl Kalinsky where he is talking about the truth of the Ayatollah. Let me just see if I can find my clip for you. I think I've got it lined up. Let's see. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. On Momentum. That will be there. Let me skip it. Let's skip it. All right, I'm just pausing that. Turn it up. Draw it back a little bit. So I'm going to play you a little bit of Mr. Kalinsky, and there are other people that I watch, but he just speaks in, I mean, he's potty mouth, but he speaks in such a candid and easy to understand ways. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and the sound is enabled. So this is just going to give you a little update. Now, obviously, this video is a little bit older, and I'm a little bit off the news because obviously I've been just doing other stuff today. So I'm going to share here, and we'll discuss. Arit.
All right, y'all, we got some major breaking news here on this Friday morning. So Trump took to Lie Social and he said the following: there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, and the selection of a great and acceptable leader, we and many of our wonderful and brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. This is all code word for we're going to steal your natural resources, just like we're stealing Venezuela's natural resources right now. He continues, Iran will have a great future. Make Iran great again. So here he is saying make Iran great again, as in the U.S., unemployment's going up, inflation's going up, people are losing their jobs because of AI, and you have 18 million people being kicked off of their health care. And here he is saying make Iran great again. This country is furious, and this country is falling apart. And by the way, we went from, oh, we're just going to destroy their nuclear program, and then that escalated to, all right, we're going to do regime change, and now that's escalated to, we need unconditional surrender. So it's over, bro. He's already doing a forever war, and I need the Democrats to wakey, because the fact of the matter is, if you don't oppose this with literally every fiber of your being, if you don't go to the mat in order to try to stop this from happening, then your legacy is going to be that of a beta cuck bitch. Your legacy is going to be Diet MAGA. So, I mean, let's go here. This is insane what we're looking at. Casually saying we need unconditional surrender on a Friday morning as the country falls apart. So, by the way, on that point, Listen to this. We just got some job numbers. Loss of 92,000 jobs in February. Unemployment rises to 4.4%. Economists had expected a gain of 55,000 jobs and the unemployment rate to hold steady at 4.3%. So as he's focused on Iran, as he's starting multiple wars, this country and our economy is falling apart. Also, this war has expanded yet again, and it looks like Russia is providing Iran with targeting information to attack American forces in the Middle East. So yet again, somebody else enters the war. Somebody else enters on the side of the Iranians. You have China and Russia on the side of the Iranians. This is why we say we might already be in a world war. That might already be the case. Okay. We also have CNBC highlighting the fact that the labor force participation is now the lowest it has been since late 2021, before the COVID vaccine was available. So in other words, the economy right now is struggling, akin to the heart of the global pandemic. That's wild, bro. That's a wild thing to think about. We also have oil.
I'll leave it there. And oil is going to be shooting up and stuff like that. So let me just do the stop share. So you can see that there for yourself. So it's like everything, guys, is all a distraction. We know this. This war is primarily being fought to distract everyone from the Epstein files. But also as well, the Epstein files and all of that hullabaloo is yet more distractions on top of other distractions because of the agendas that these lunatics have. So you have Pete Hegseth. Now look, Trump, look, we know like Trump is not a Christian man. Do you remember? He couldn't even hold the Bible the right way up. Do you remember? But Pete Hegseth, yeah, absolute loony bin. And he's like, right, yeah, this is it. We're going in. We need to get rid of all of these people. So what they've done is the Ayatollah basically sacrificed himself along with some of his kids and I think his grandkids, which of course it enacts, you know, obviously holy war. And his son is now the replacement. And apparently the son is way more hardcore than the Ayatollah was. And the Ayatollah, now look, we're not trying to send him compliments, yeah, dreadful, horrible stuff, but it doesn't give you the right to invade a sovereign country and kill its leader, yeah, when it's got no threat. The Ayatollah for years, turns out the Ayatollah for years have been saying, no, Iran will not develop a nuclear weapon because it's un-Islamic. He considered it evil. So the one person that was there that was not going to do a nuclear weapon is now dead. And then Trump admits, he then admits that the people that they potentially wanted to replace the Ayatollah with are now dead. And they're like, oh, bum. Well, now we might not know anyone. Yeah. Do you see? It is madness because this war, Trump is being dragged into it. Now, look, he is a warmongering SOB, as we know. Yeah. But he doesn't like drawn out, dragged out, complicated things. He wanted it to be like Venezuela, and that's what they told him. Yeah, Netanyahu would have sat there and told him, this is what it's going to be like. Yeah, just go in there. When what they've got, they want wider Judea. That's what they want, yeah, which would encompass Syria, Iraq, quite a bit of Saudi Arabia, Jordan, of course, and, you know, the wider sort of like Levant, essentially, in around there, and part of the Gulf of Persia, you know, all of that, and Egypt as well. Yeah, that kind of what they used to call the Fertile Crescent. Yeah. So it's just absolutely bonkers. Let's go. I'm going to show you. Let me just source another clip and let's get you a bit of iHip news. So I'll go back into my history. And let's see, I'll just play you a little bit of iHip news because, you know, they can do all the anger and all of the whatnot for me. Now, let's see here. There'll be an ad again. Sorry. Apologies. Let me skip this. Obviously, I would have had this set up before. Many of you will know the ladies from iHip News. Oh, for heaven's sake, another advert. Jesus Christ. Come on. Oh, All right, so here we are. I'm going to turn this up. So many of you will know these ladies, and then I'm going to get into some of your questions, and then I'm going to get into maybe some of the more esoteric stuff if I have time. All right, let's do share. Let's do this. Share screen. So now we're getting the eye hip ladies, yeah, the badass potty mouth as well. And then look at this headline down here on the side. Iran war will wreck world economy, says Qatar. Yeah, absolutely. They're right. All right, here we go.
2000s, Senator Edwards and Senator Clinton voted to authorize the Iraq war. Barack Obama ran his entire presidential campaign as being opposed to the war and schooled these two politicians and made it a central part of his campaign that they were pro-war. So right now we have, of course, the MAGA party that was like a month ago anti-war and all about the Nobel Peace Prize. Now they are all for forever wars in Iran. They're all for this ridiculous regime change, which is not going to happen. This is going to end up being a forever war. And so what lessons have the Democrats learned? What are the Democrats going to do? Well, Politico is reporting the following. Pop this up. We're in it. Democrats won't rule out giving Trump more money for Middle East war. And then moving into an excerpt from this article, several Democrats on the Senate Armed Services Committee aren't ruling out supporting more Pentagon funding. That includes the panel's top Democrat, Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, as well as Senators Gary Peters of Michigan, Tim Kaine of Virginia, and Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan. And it is as though history is lost on both parties. The Iraq war was wildly unpopular, did nothing but diminish our standing around the globe. And then we have Democrats that are supposed to be the opposition party that every single chance they get, it's like Schumer has a few that he can pull out to be the paid, controlled opposition, AKA fascist collaborators. Rule number one with fascist regimes: never obey in advance.
So I'll leave that there. Let me just stop there. So rather than me coming out with a critique and cussing everyone out and all of that kind of stuff, I thought I'll let those acerbic critiques fall from the mouths of Americans themselves rather than me having to say it, because, you know, it's not nice, isn't it, seeing someone else from another country bash your own country. Yeah. But when you have people from your own country bashing your own country, then you can't really argue with it, isn't it? But why am I sharing that? Yeah, because as you know, I came up with this term, which I refer to as Vaseline Democrats. Yeah. They just smooth the path, yeah, for the evildoers. Yeah, not all of them. And, you know, they kind of play horsey. Yeah, they mix it up a little bit. But this is the predicament that we're in, because what we're seeing here is a full infiltration of ideologies in the unfortunate US government. Now, look, Britain is not perfect either. We've got our right-wing press who are all behind Farage and all of that kind of stuff. But that trick is not working so well over here. Farage has recently gone down in the polls. The Greens have gone up, and Labour, you know, and the Tories not looking so good. Come May elections, I still thoroughly expect it to be a bloodbath for Labour, yeah? But we're a much smaller country, and, you know, we're different, yeah? We're different. But the reason why I'm sharing those two clips here is because I'm trying to show the convergence of several different things. And you guys will know, yeah, what I've been talking about for a while, isn't it? I've been saying the Dasha sequence that America is in, it is in a Rahu Dasha, which I believe to be the most difficult Dasha of all. Truly it is, unless the person's Rahu is very well placed and they're already very knowledgeable and experienced. But the Rahu Dasha will always go to extremes. K2 is going to start driving the car. And as you know, I said, yeah, repeat after me, yeah? 26th of March, 2026, I said K2 will start driving the car. But I said the energy starts 3 months before. And the closer we get to the time, the crazier it will be, because K2 has no head. Part of the shadow of K2 is said to be heedless. Now think about it. If you've got no head, you can't hear anything. K2 does deal with spirituality. Yeah, it can be incredibly spiritual. Mokshakaka, after all, that's what he represents. Yeah, liberation from this world. However, K2 can also represent diabolical things, particularly when he's combined with Pluto, which he is in the USA chart in the second house. And he's going to start driving the car. In fact, there's maybe one leg is in the car already. So how well can you drive a car if you've got no head, you've got no eyes? So the shadow of this can be heedlessness, recklessness, absolute bonkers. There is a saying, and I've always believed it, and I just thought, God, that is a really good saying. And they say, you can peer into the abyss, but never let the abyss peer into you. The shadow of Ketu is the abyss. Are these people listening? Oh, we're going to bring back Jesus. Rah, rah. Come on, let's go. Yeah, while the American soldiers are like, what? Yeah, as their generals are telling them that, you know, Trump is the flame of Christ. Yeah, who's going to set off all this Armageddon, and it has to be as bloodthirsty as possible to induce Christ back to earth. No, it's not going to happen. There are solutions, but I'm going to read some of your questions and maybe leave that bit at the end in terms of what we can do personally to navigate these times. So it is going to get a little bit of Bible in there, a little bit of spirituality in there, but you know, you get the spiritual stuff from me anyway, and all of the predictions and the dreams and the astrology. So you guys are used to this by now. All right, let's take in some of your questions. I'm not sure which ones to start off with, to be honest. I mean, they're all, oh, let's start with this one. So Yowingfield said, wrote, let's put this here. Video coming out of Iran is saying the USS Abraham Lincoln was hit by 4 missiles, and it was on fire, and apparently 560 American casualties. What is the true status of the ship and the casualty count? Now, you remember, guys, ironically, yeah, my last Friday fry-up, which was last week, do you remember I pulled those cards and I said, whoa, this is not going to work out. You guys remember that? I mean, it was only last week. And I said, if they go into Iran, I said, it's going to be a disaster. Look what's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, what's at the bottom of the deck? Oh, so any numbers that you hear about casualties on the USA side, do not believe them. They are lies. Yeah, they're just lying, just like they're lying about the jobs numbers. Yeah, and lying about the economy. Yeah, lying about everything. It's way higher. It's obviously they want to keep that shrouded, because otherwise how can they justify it? But oh, they've got the votes now, haven't they? Oh, disgusting, disgusting. All right, let's see. Abraham Lincoln, the Iranians say, hit by 4 missiles, was on fire. So, of course, if we get things like the tower or the, you know, sadly, the death card, 4 of swords, you know, the usual. This is just a disaster. Absolute disaster. Trumpocalypse. All right. Let me tune in with the energy. Abraham Lincoln. USS Abraham Lincoln. What's the fate of that ship? How's it faring? Oh, what times? But stay to the end, because there's something a bit more positive, if I can squeeze it in. Let's take a look. All right, if we look here with the ship, we get the Knight of Swords. Yeah, this is the card of action. What? War. You can see here his blood red cape. This is one of what I call referred to as one of the fastest cards in the deck. This is the card of rushing forward, taking affirmative action. So this is the Iranians, yeah, who have attacked the ship, it seems. If we look here, there's no obstacle to it. They've just run right through. Yet they get the Chariot card. And this is the card of what? Willpower, forcefulness, going forward with energy. So you see they've got two of the most powerful energetic cards. So it does look like indeed they have struck the ship. Yeah, they have struck the ship. That's what it seems like. Here we've got a lot of cope going on. This is the 8 of Pentacles. So this is also showing Iran is working hard. They've been in the factory. Yeah, they've been in the factory. Guys, Iran's got so much stockpile. They've got so much stockpile. And you would have seen in my recent videos. Do you remember I said they'll throw in the drones and all of that stuff to exhaust, yeah, to use up the defense, yeah, what is it, the harp or whatever, SARP, I can't remember what it is, or you know, the heat tracking missiles, yeah, which cost 1 million each, by the way, and the Iranians are maximum spending $50,000. They say each drone's probably about $35,000, yeah, and they can make 500 a day or something like that. So they've got, apparently they've got like 80,000 drones or something. They ain't running out. Guess who's going to run out first? Yeah, so this is the Iranians. They've been working hard. They've been preparing for this. They knew that this was coming. They knew it was coming since the 80s. They got that flash attack. They actually went in and said, we don't want to do nuclear weapons, blah, blah, blah. They'd actually agreed to everything in the negotiations, and they still got bombed anyway. Why? Because you got the ideological who want to try and induce Armageddon and all of that BS. Yeah. So they worked hard, but this is also showing America's going to have to work very hard to restock itself. Pardon me, it will not be able to do it in time. If we look here, sadness, loss, yeah? So the loss of life is probably true. Now, would it be 560? We would have to see, yeah? You'd have to take that with a pinch of salt, but the way things go, I think I'm more inclined to believe Iran's numbers than the US, because they lie about absolutely anything. They can't even be honest about the jobs numbers. Yeah. So here, this is the card of what? Loss. You can see here, some of the cups here, literally spilt blood. So yes, I think American life has been lost and the regime is lying about it. And then if you see here as well, this is also budgets. Yeah, this is the Page of Pentacles, money. It's they're not going to necessarily run out of money, but it's going to cost quite a lot. But also as well, this isn't a card of big money. So what this says to me is that Iran's being able to do this a lot cheaper as well, a lot cheaper than what America is. So I think it's true. Look, unfolding stories, it could prove to be wrong. It could prove to be propaganda, but I'm not sure with those cards. And even if you were to half that, yeah, the 560, I mean, you're looking at hundreds, yeah. Oh, it's so senseless, and it's so stupid. It's so evil. Yeah, it's just evil. This regime is just evil. All right, let me read another one. Let me just bring you guys in. Oh gosh, lots of debate here. So here we are. So purple, what was that? Purple agria. Sorry, I'm just going to say purple. I agree, Hoagie. This is not, what is it? There is not just one mind-controlled death cult working here. There is three, yeah? The maggots and the Republicans, BB and the evangelical Christo-fascists, and the Broligarchs. I have been saying, yeah, it's true. It's three. It's three cults at once. I would say someone says, yeah. KJB says, we love our Hoagie. Kelly from Sacramento. Oh, thank you so much. Barbara saying, Hogarth, how about less doom and gloom? Surely when this nightmare is over, there is a glorious outcome. Well, this is an unfolding potential world war, so I'm not quite sure how, less doom and gloom. There is a spiritual element that I'd like to talk about, but think about it. to be calling for a bit less doom and gloom right now when everything is absolutely falling apart at the seams. I mean, it just is what it is. Yeah. And I've been predicting this, but now it's happening. Yeah. Now it is happening. K2 is starting to drive the car. I mean, we have to try and find bright spots, but to be honest, at this stage, it probably is a bit difficult to find some bright spots. And I think we also need to honor the dead as well. How many people who have already lost their lives, and we can't sort of bypass out of this. I'm not saying you're bypassing, but do you know what I mean? It's like we are this close. We are this close to World War. We are this close. And it's, you know, we have to process this. We have to process this stuff. All right, let's take another look. NATO, what's this? Oh, here we are. So Margaret Shoemaker said, hi, hello, Hergy. I want to tell you how much I enjoy your shows. Your energy is so infectious and your authenticity truly screams out. Thank you for being a beacon of light in this cray world. And I've got something very interesting for you guys. I'm going to have to play you another clip. So this question, and then we're going to get into some of the more spiritual, esoteric, possibly positive aspects, but it's on a personal level. Yeah, not, you'll see what I mean. Anyway, so here, thank you for being beacon of light, Cray. So NATO has rewritten some rules, taking away much power from the US. PM Carney instigated the change. Do you see PM Carney becoming a global leader in a bigger role than currently? Thank you much, Hoagie. And I think someone replied to that. I think it was Gelding, who said, yeah, he's there already. Yeah, there's truth in that. So Mark Carney, will he become more of a global leader? I think he already is, to be honest. Let's see. I think he already is. But let's see what Mark Carney's energy is. He had a little wobble kind of back in the war at first, and then he's corrected himself. Intelligent guy, you know. Let's have a look. Mark Carney. What's the future for him? And then we're going to get into some more esoteric stuff. And I went down some very, some fascinating stuff. Anyway, Mark Carney. And then a bit of spiritualis. Mark Carney. Let's see what he gets. I had a feeling this card would come up. Oh, wow. Oh, he's got amazing cards. Amazing. Really good cards. All right, here we go. If we look here, we have the Four of Wands, yeah, which talks about reaching a milestone. It talks about success, happiness, even marriage, yeah. But this card, for me, also talks about like the White House. So when we're talking about politics, the one who's the leader, yeah, that authority or whatever institution that is. So this shows Carney secure as leader of Canada. And if he plays his cards right, he'll probably win the election after that as well. So he's reaching milestones. He's safe and secure. Basically, in many ways, Trump's abdication of his responsibilities, along with a wider regime, has basically crowned him. Yeah. Just in case we weren't sure, look at the next card. We literally get the World card. So this is very much Canada being seen as a safe pair of hands, a place of rationality, sanity. Mark Carney has stood up very well, literally in front of the eyes of the world, and is representing something stable, something reliable, something familiar. Yeah. And the world sees this. Yeah. So this really does answer the question, is he a global leader or not? Yes, he is. If we look here, the next card, we get the Justice card here. So this talks about legalities. It can talk about justice, of course. But remember, I associate this card with legal contracts, legally binding contracts, negotiation, legalese of all kinds. Maybe one day he may even help preside preside over a court that may be bringing these people to justice. We'll have to see. Too early to see yet. But you see here, the courts are on his side and there is this energy there. But it also talks about what? Deals, yeah, contracts. This could also talk about trade agreements, particularly when you see the next card. So if you look here, Mr. Carney is doing business. He is making deals. He is going out into the world. You see, this is the card of relationships, of concord, negotiation, mutual interest, marriage. Yeah. So I suspect that obviously he's got his Canada's got his developing its closeness and contracts with China. Obviously, Europe is now going to need more of Canada's oil because obviously the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Bahrain can barely produce anything. They're like, we're basically offline. See you, love. And so this is an opportunity as well, particularly because Canada has so much natural resources, liquefied gas, oil, etc. They can take up that slack. So I'm sure Europe will be, going there. China, of course, would prefer their oil to be coming from Iran because geographically it's a lot closer. This is also very, very difficult for India, by the way. Yeah. Very difficult for India. And the longer they say that for each day that Dubai airport is closed, they're losing billions. In fact, the whole world is losing billions. So, but Mark Carney is going to be coming in there, that friendly face. And then if we look here, we get the judgment card. So it's a massive wake up call. Yep. Now, of course, you guys know this who are watching here. You're looking along as well, agog, yeah, and distraught, of course. And it's so awful, particularly for people who didn't vote for this, that you're having to go through this. But the whole world is going for this. I never voted for Trump. And look what I'm having to experience, all of us. So this is that wake up call, that bugle call. Yeah. Funny enough, this is supposed to be where the dead, rise up for what? Judgment. So Mark Carney is doing, he's going to be absolutely fine. Let's just see here. Nick Mink says the pastors are at it again, laying hands on the orange antichrist to give him strength in his war. Troops are being told this is holy war, being around second coming. Do cards show whether their prayers will keep the tangerine toss pot going? Well, Trump's health is suffering. Yeah, so let's do a quick read. Let's just do a quick read on him, and then we're going to go into a little bit of video, and I want to take it in a different direction, a more spiritual direction. And I want to see what your thoughts are on this, because we may as well go there, because as far as this regime is concerned, they're in spiritual war. So Trump, Duck L'Orange, with all of his scabby rashes and, like I said, and as Jupiter gets closer to his natal Saturn, remember, which is in the 12th house, the last time Jupiter was here was back in the summer. And remember, Trump had his strokes. And they obviously did some kind of stent thing in his heart. So let's see what's going on. The laying on of hands, has that helped preserve the tangerine a little longer? What's going on with Duck L'Orange? He knows he's not getting into heaven. Duck L'Orange, Duck L'Orange. Duck L'Orange, Duck L'Orange. Duck L'Orange. Trumpocalypse, absolutely diabolical. But this is what he was selected for, folks. That's what they wanted all along. Yeah. Heritage Society, Project 2025. The one who gives him all the funding. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. He's in trouble. This Jupiter transit, yeah, which will begin on the 1st of June, but especially once we start getting towards May, look, he's already disastrous for me already. Remember, look, he's getting all scabby. He's probably got more all over him. I think it's just rancid old syphilis or something like that, or could be cancer. But look at this card. Now, the first card that comes out is the Four of Swords. Now, you guys know I associate this card more with death than the actual death card itself. This can literally mean to kick the bucket, yeah, because he is dead. Look, do you see? It's a mausoleum. Here you've got the light coming through. The positive aspect of this card, when you're talking to people who are normal, this is a card of reflection, of meditation, but can talk about being wounded in battle. So Trump's fragile ego is already wounded. America is already wounded. And as far as I'm concerned, Iran has already won. Yeah, they can carpet bomb Tehran as much as they want. But they've got, there's no specific one leader. All the different regions, they've got bunkers galore up in the mountains, and they've got stockpiles going on and on and on. I think this is Trump really reflecting on his mortal coil, and how he's going to leave. Yeah. Why else is he saying, oh, you know, I don't think I'm going to get into heaven. Yeah. Why do you think he's saying that? Because he knows, he feels the touch. Yeah. The touch. We all feel this as human beings. When our time is near, we feel that touch, yeah? Start getting the dreams. If Epstein can come to me in a dream, think of how many times Epstein's come to Trump in dreams, yeah? So you know, it's not looking good. If you look here, you got the Hierophant. So look, the nut bags, yeah? This is part of the Opus Dei, again, for entertainment purposes only. This is AIPAC. This is Netanyahu. This is Pete Hegseth. This is the Armageddon. Look, oh, the pontificate. Yeah, they're crazy. Yeah, this is the rabid radicalism. Yeah, even the tech bros. Yeah, the three-way bloody axis of evil. Look at this. Now, do you remember when I pulled the cards for Mark Carney? He got this card as well. And of course, it talks about what? Presidency, yeah, White House, all of this kind of stuff. So again, this is him, yeah, but this is about reaching a milestone. So I think he'll make it to his 80th birthday, which of course is the 14th of June. But look what comes after. Oh, the Tower. Yeah, a shocking event. The crown gets struck off, yeah, and the people plunge to their deaths. Yeah. So I think he makes it to his birthday. Yeah, makes it to his birthday, making it to a landmark, a celebration. And obviously, in his narcissistic BS, he's going to do some big flouncy thing at Mar-a-Lago, most probably. But we see something shocking. He's shot from the foundation, a surprise. Yeah. And then what kind of surprise we see here? We've got the Knight of Wands. Yeah. So this is about, again, fire, energy, passion. You guys know now. Look, I said he would either go like that at the lectern, or they'll be like, Grandpa, that's it. You're going off into retirement now. Or I said he'll flee to the Middle East. Obviously, that's not going to happen now, is it? That's not going to happen. So we can strike. Well, you never know, but we can strike that one. I doubt very much Trump would go. But mind you, I did say he would go to Israel as well. But that's probably not a smart idea either. Have you seen all the rubble? They're trying to hide it, but it's wreckage everywhere, as well in Iran as well, of course. So so the answer to that is Ducky hangs on for a while. He'll make it to his 80th birthday. But after that, I think all bets are off. Yeah, with those cards. Right. Let's take this in a bit of a different direction. I'm wondering if I've got enough time to show you the clips. Okay, this is going to be very esoteric, and I hope you're going to find it quite comforting. But which bits to show you? All right, it's to do with this guy called William Henry, and I think he's been on like the Gaia channel and all of that kind of stuff. And he talks about transhumanism, but how they're trying to use AI to replicate the cloak of glory. Yeah, stick with me on this one. I wanted to show you the preamble stuff, but you know what? I might have to just, we'll go a little bit longer, because I think I want you to see both bits so you can see my rationale, where I'm going with this. It's been a very interesting day for me today. Right, now let's find you that clip. Perdonami as I rummage. What is it bloody called again? Oh, gee whiz. What's the frigging... what was the clip? Oh, God. I've forgotten the... Oh, God. I've forgotten the bloody clip, haven't I? What is it called? Grand... It was... Oh, I know. Sorry, pardon me. If I go to my playlist, I put in the playlist. I saved it to a playlist. spirituality. Forgive me. No, not that. Pause. Is this the one? No. Where is it? Oh, God. Sorry, guys. I've messed up. I can't find. Oh, this is it. Oh, thank God I found it. All right. Forgive me. Perdón. Right. Now let's find you. So I need to show you from 10 minutes. So you need to kind of see this to kind of believe it, because you'd be like, what? And let's see here. I'm just going to let this play. And I'm going to show you how this is relevant. And this is a very, very spiritual. And so bear with me here. Let me just, now I've got the clip lined up. We'll go a little bit longer. Bear with me here and let me know your thoughts. Yeah. All right. So let's find it. And I'm just going to press play from here. So this is to talk about the light body, what is said to be our true body, which is supposed to be a light rainbow, etherical, immortal, etc. And then you'll see where it's going. I'm just going to press play now.
That Christian concept with the Tibetan concept of the great perfection. The Tibetans tell us that our body was designed to have its frequency accelerated until it dissolves into its natural essence, its true nature, which is a 5-colored rainbow light body, which is what you see here in this depiction on the right. It's exactly the same as the glory or resurrection body of Jesus, the light body of Jesus. This happens to be Padmasambhava, a Tibetan guru who manifested on the earth plane and taught the teachings of the light body, the rainbow light body, to the Tibetans. The Gospel of Philip, a Gnostic gospel, says the Lord rose from the dead. He became as he was, but now his body was perfect. And there's that word perfect again. We've used it several times now. He possessed flesh, but this was true flesh. Our flesh isn't true. Ours is only an image of the true. So our flesh and blood bodies are merely an image of our true selves that we're trying to get back to. This is very important because, as we're going to develop here, what AI and transhumanism is attempting to do is to create a duplicate version of the human body, another iteration of the human body that's not composed of strictly or exclusively flesh and blood, and actually has little to do with our original true nature as beings of light and love. So here we see that correspondence between.
All right, so I think we can all agree on that. We're beings of light and love, which is what I've been saying to everyone. Not just me, in general, yeah, spiritual channels, it's true. Now I'm going to fast forward it a little bit here to get you to the bit where, and it goes into, you know, the rainbow light body. Oh, I've got to play you this bit. You've got to hear this bit. All right, listen to this.
I'm 61.
Sorry, 1 minute. Adverts. Forgive me. When you play clips on YouTube. 1 minute.
To Tai Chi.
Yeah, all these Tai Chi AI adverts. All right, listen to this.
As we continue.
Oh,
I'm
for
61,
heaven's sake.
and today I'm
fucking
switching
adverts.
from
Sorry.
fasting to Tai Chi.
That's the trouble when you.
I hope it's worth it.
Enough already.
So in my path, it's 2002. I'm researching this cloak.
Listen to this.
Department of Commerce. You can get this document online. It's available in PDF format. It's called Converging Technologies for Improving Human Performance. Basically what happened is the US government got together with all the top technology people at that time, Microsoft, Google, so forth, took them to Hawaii and said, y'all, you all are involved in 4 separate technologies. Some of you are developing bits or computer technology. Some of you are developing atoms or nanotechnology. Some of you are studying the brain or neuroscience. And some of you are involved in genetics. What the US government wants you to do is to begin to merge all 4 of those separate technologies into one seamless technology and aim it at the human skin, creating a new layer of skin for humanity. I'm like, that's the robe. They're wanting to build a robe of light. They are mimicking exactly what the garment of light can do technologically. Isn't this exciting, right? What they said was that potential uses of these technologies in improving health and overcoming disability are discussed in the report, and that they want to create a human-machine interface. The reason for doing this was to enable the creation of a new species of intelligent machine systems that can generate economic wealth on a scale hitherto unimaginable. What is the motivation for turning us into machines? Money. That's all it is. We're all being put on the altar of Silicon Valley so we can make trillions of dollars. And usher in, oh, by the way, a golden age for all humankind. Now, back in 2002, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking bits, atoms, neurons, and genes. Isn't that earth, air, fire, and water retooled at a digital level? Well, if this is correspondent with earth, air, fire, and water, what's missing? Spirit. Where's the soul in all this? Well, as I'm going to explain to you, these people are atheists. That idea that you have, that quaint idea that you have that you are a soul inhabiting a human body, is folklore and superstition. And they are going to eradicate that kind of speech from we idiots who still hold on to these ancient concepts. 2003, Dr. Natasha Vita-Moore, brilliant woman, comes along with her whole body prosthetic and substrate autonomous networked avatar body by design. Basically, the premise is your body sucks. It stinks. It creates gaseous waste. It needs to be recycled. You're really stupid because you have a one-track mind. You can't really multitask. And you got all kinds of problems with this body. It's fragile, and it has a limited lifespan. Why would you want one of these things? What we're going to do is create the new primo post-human with smart skin. We're going to start printing new replacement organs for you. We're going to sprinkle a little smart dust in your neocortex. We're going to wire you up to this global brain, and you will now be a primo post-human rather than old and stinky. And everybody's going to want one of these things. That was the premise. And that is 2003. So
I'll just pause it there. Stop share. So do you see what I'm talking about now? No, it's not just now. Look, that wasn't, he made the presentation, but you see, this is a government thing. 2003. Did you see? Once the human is kind of like this quasi robot uploaded to the cloud, it's going to make trillions and trillions, and then they're going to what? Create this kind of skin thing, yeah, as you saw, which is like combined with technology. Think about it. Like we all we have to do is just join the dots, yeah. Elon Musk with Neuralink, he already said he wants to what? Upload consciousness to the cloud. This skin, yeah, that is going to be, and look, when this stuff comes out, because it will come out, obviously, a lot of people will go for it, yeah, and if they go for it, it is their choice, yeah. We live on a planet of free will. If they want to kind of blend with the machine and be ruled by the archons, you know, that's you know, that's their free will, and they will be given that choice, yeah, because we do live on a free will planet. And this is part of what I saw. I didn't know it was going to be exactly this, but you know, when I had that dream and I said I saw humanity going in two pathways like this. And I said, one will be like basically transhuman, which you can now see for yourself. He's presented evidence, but just listen to what the oligarchs are actually saying. And what will happen is what I saw in the dream is the one that takes the chip and stuff, they'll be uploaded to AI and all these supercomputers, and they're going to feel like they're gods. They're going to become like the master builders, yeah? But what they don't know is every human, this is what I was shown in the dream, every human that goes for that Neuralink and that skin thing, yeah, or whatever form it comes in, they will lose the divinity of their souls. They don't know it, but that is the price. However, those that rely on what? Spirituality, yeah? Who do it organically, we can then basically regain our light bodies as is part of our birthright and human potential. But we do it organically. And the way that we do it, believe it or not, and it might sound really simple and everyone says it, but it's love. It is love. It is empathy. It is community. It is doing for others. You know, you don't have to be a complete doormat for everyone, but you know what I mean? In terms of service to humanity in whatever way that you can do. Service as well to Gaia and animals as well, but particularly human souls as well. Yeah, because we're all here to help each other grow, to give each other wisdom. Yeah. And, you know, for me, I've got my little channel here, you know, my little platform. And some of you may have seen that stuff before. For many of you, that may be the first time you've seen that, or me sharing stuff like that. I've not shared stuff like that before, but I've felt compelled because when Hegseth and these nutbags started to say, this is Armageddon and the second coming of Jesus, I'm like, wait a minute, they're trying to induce the return of Christ with this bloodlust. But it's an inversion, it's a lie. I saw someone and they said, you know, evil is just live spelt backwards. And I was like, wow. They are anti-life, like you guys are saying in the comments. It's a death cult. But there's 3 death cults at once, and the tech bros are gonna ride the, you know, the evangelical and then one of the Zionist cults. You know, like imagine they've 1 foot on each horse, ride it along because they know they're completely crazy, and then they hope to what? Take over in the aftermath and come out with that kind of stuff. Now, will it be that exact skin stuff? Well, it remains to be seen. But you saw, like he shared that document, that this was what? A US government. They spoke about it, converging it all together. And I just thought, you know what? I've got to share this with my audience, with my viewers. So I know we've gone over a bit, but, you know, I just thought, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Quite a wide-ranging, divergent show tonight. Not its usual polish, but I think we had to cover that ground. So just to finish on more of a positive, I really do believe, irrespective of whether they believe that this is Armageddon or not, it's not the point. The point is that we know there is evil, yeah, in the White House, in the Epstein files. It's all coming out, and we're seeing where the chips really are falling. We're also seeing who are the wolves in sheep's clothing. Yeah. Even the MAGAverse is starting to break up and split up now, because they're like, wait a minute, we definitely didn't vote for this. Yeah. They wanted the cruelty. They wanted everyone, you know, thrown out the country. They wanted this, they wanted that. But one of the things they wanted was a working economy. They wanted money. Yeah. Wanted jobs. And one of the main things of the main MAGA movement was no wars. I don't know if you guys have seen recently, but they've been showing the clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's just been absolutely cussing out Trump from the hilltops, cussing him out, quite rightly. Tucker Carlson has obviously been getting stuck in even a bit of Megyn Kelly, but you got what? They're all, you know, we all know where they are, but this is so egregious, and they cannot justify it because they know that this is what this is. They've basically gone in on ideology and blackmail. But now you're beginning to see what the agenda is. So what do we do as human beings? What do we do? Yeah, we create community. Like I've been saying, talking with people. Oh, and by the way, if you want to join my Coffee with Hoagie this Sunday, we'll probably continue the conversation there. Go onto my website. It's not in the video description yet, but you can click on any of my pre-published videos and you can see my website there. Click on there, and just for the price of a coffee, you can meet like-minded people. We debate and we discuss, and we even do one-card pulls as well and stuff like that. So that will be up after I've done my video. But that's why I'm doing that, to try and help foster a sense of community, because when this is about also as well about creativity, your artwork, music. Why do you think they're doing this? Because they know the vibration is rising, yeah? So they have to do more and more drastic things to keep that vibration down, yeah? They want everyone hating everyone. They want everyone, the vibration to be low. They don't want people to be generous. They don't want people to be kind. They don't want people to be loving. They don't want people to have humor and laugh, yeah? One of the best things we can do is laugh in the face of their absurdities, even though it is difficult, and not give in to fear. We are divine, eternal beings. That's truly what we are. We are divine, eternal beings. And there are many dark and evil forces that do not want us to know that. That's why they're always telling us the body's rubbish, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it smells, it stinks, it blah, blah. Yeah, the body's imperfect. We know that the body, like they say, the soul is winning, but the body is weak. But the body is our avatar to experience this wonderful place that is called Earth. And there are many entities in the world that do not want us to experience that joy, that bliss. This is why they bombard us with what? Bad news all the time, constantly. Even though obviously I'm relaying some bad news here, but like I said, this is much more the positive stuff. But we have to live in a real world as well. We can't just go around like this. Yeah, you get run over. Yeah, we have to be aware. We can't just check out and can't spiritual bypass. You're not going, you're not going to wear your robe of glory, yeah, just by pretending. Yeah, that's not going to work either. It's about consciously. Like I said, coming from that loving place. So think of like-minded friends or family. The love you have for your pets, for example, if you have pets, yeah, your cat, your dog, your budgerigars, this, that, and the other, your loved ones, your friends. Think of your favorite foods, yeah, that you love to eat. Eat as well as you can afford. Yeah, eat as well as you can afford. Listen to your favorite music. Laugh and joke. Like when I'm not focusing on this stuff, I'm living my life, Like I say, every Friday I go play tennis and I just don't think about any of this. And I played superbly today, by the way. One or two little hiccups there, but everyone thought I was on crack. It was like they couldn't believe how well I was playing, because you know what? I didn't watch any news and I knew I'd have to deal with obviously things later, but I also gave myself that space as well. You have to also give yourself that space, that room for love, laughter, within your heart. Work on that heart chakra, meditation, walking, try and get into a bit of nature. Like I said, eating well, sleeping well, burning your incense, doing your mantras, doing your spiritual work. And yes, of course, acknowledge what's going on in the world. But what they want most of all is our fear. That's what they want. That's what they feed off, the fear and our outrage. That's why they're constantly trying to induce fear and outrage, and they go to more and more and more and more extremes, yeah, because their vibration's getting higher and higher and higher and higher, yeah. But the truth is coming out. Jupiter becomes exalted on the 1st of June, but you can already feel that exaltation. When Jupiter is the planet of enlightenment, it becomes exalted in the sign of Cancer. That will technically happen on the 1st of June, 2026, but it's already happening the closer he gets. He's in Gemini. Now he's moving direct. That Jupiter is going to be putting even more pressure on Trump's chart. He's not going to be able to contain himself because obviously everything's going bad already. But think about it. Remember I said when Jupiter is exalted, that was when the French Revolution happened. But why did the French Revolution happen? Because that's when everyone woke up and everyone was like, this is BS. We need to do something. K2. Yeah, 26th of March, starts driving the car. Imagine what things will be like by 1st of June. But it also means so many, even more people will be awakening. Yeah, they're going to be rubbing their eyes and going, oh my God, this is Complete madness. Even the rusted on ones, there will always be that die-hard. I think there's a die-hard of about 15 to 20% that like I said, are just beyond redemption. They've made their choice. They've used their free will to follow Duck L'Orange over the cliff. But the majority of the world is waking up. The whole world is waking up. And like I said, it's going to reach a stage where not even Fox News are going to be able to lie about it. In fact, Fox News, some of them have already been given some pushback because it's so egregious. So I want you to, like, ending on that positive, we all have the potential for this wonderful light body, yeah, which they refer to as the robes of glory. What is when we raise our vibration up high enough, yeah, we literally can turn into light. And we all have that potential locked in our DNA. But part of that, the most of that comes through the heart chakra. And when I was looking at this guy, I got one of his PDF books, and it not, you know, we're using PDF as another code, but a real genuine PDF file. And one of the things, apparently the ancient Egyptians, they used these techniques, but they could use a special herb as well. There is this herb that you could use, and it basically induces the hormonal and chemical response that you see, which turns the caterpillar into the chrysalis and the butterfly. And you would basically shed this human skin, and then your light body would come out, and you are therefore in the robes of our highest self. So how about that for thoughts? Yeah, look, I'm going to leave it there. It's already 1:15. I know I've thrown a lot at you this evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Big love. And I hope that was a bit more positive for you. They're going to do what they're going to do because they're lunatics, they're psychopaths, and they're not even in control of their lives and their bodies. Like I said, Epstein and Ghislaine showed me all the ritualistic horrors that they do for these powers, yeah, these temporal powers. But I know who their overlords are. We, as human beings, we do not need any of that. Yeah, they know that we have this vast potential, but this is why they're always telling us, this is what all this AI stuff is all about. Look, again, I'm not going to criticize people for using it. You know, you go on Google, it automatically does it, but just understand what the intention is. Current forms of AI in terms of business have a 95% fail rate. Why are they still pushing all of this stuff? Yeah, because they've got another destination in place. Anyway, I will leave it there. I've said enough. I've probably blown your minds with all of that. Big love, everyone, and grow that love in your heart. Yeah, and we'll make it through this. All right, bye-bye for now. Cheers.